skill gaps, gig and platform economy and sustainable financing of social protection policies. Final ministerial communique to be adopted in July at the 4th Employment Working Group meeting in Indore. Second G20 Empower meeting in Thiruvananthapuram, the capital city of Kerala, underscores the vital role of gender equality and women's economic representation in achieving sustainable development. Minister of State for Women and Child Development in the Government of India calls for an ecosystem that nurtures women's entrepreneurship and leadership, ensuring greater access to mentoring, capacity building and financing to help them scale up their businesses. Second Development Working Group meeting in Kerala's Kumarakom readies to host delegates for extensive discussions on the global G20 development agenda and outcomes drafted at the inception meeting. 4-day meeting begins on Thursday. The second Employment Working Group meeting concluded in Guwahati today, with G20 members moving towards consensus on the 3 priority areas of the ministerial declaration and outcome documents. Over 70 delegates from around 19 G20 member countries, 7 guest countries and 5 international organizations, including the International Labour Organization, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, International Social Security Association, World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, were present over 3 days of the meeting. DD India correspondent Nandita Dagar reports from Guwahati.
The curtain has come down on the second Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati. Over 3 days, G20 member countries moved closer to a consensus on the 3 priority areas of the ministerial declaration and outcome documents: addressing global skill gaps, begin platform economy and social protection and sustainable financing of social security. The discussions were steered by Aarti Ahuja, Labour and Employment Secretary in the Government of India and the G20 Employment Working Group Chair. On day 1, the meeting began with the inaugural address by Union Minister of State for Labour and Employment and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Rameshwar Teli, followed by the address by Minister of Environment and Forest in the Assam Government, Chandra Mohan Patauri. The first day comprised knowledge-sharing sessions by other working groups, which have intersecting priority areas with the Employment Working Group. Presentations were made by the Sustainable Finance Working Group, Digital Economy Working Group, Education Working Group, G20 Entrepreneurship Research Centre and the Labour 20 and Business 20 chairs. A cultural program was organised in the evening along with dinner at the banks of the Brahmaputra at the Mahabahu Brahmaputra River Heritage Centre, which included Assamese dance Bihu, flute music renditions and folk songs, which were very well received by the international audience. Member countries deliberated on the outcomes on the key priority areas of the working group. They brought in perspectives and distilled them further towards formulation of the declaration and the outcome document. The second day also included a pleasant music evening with a live band. The delegates enthusiastically joined in by singing along on the foot-tapping music. On day 3, discussions were held on the draft ministerial communique on the remaining document. Besides the draft ministerial declaration, the draft outcome document on gig and platform economy and social protection was taken up for discussion.
Today is the third and final day of the Employment Working Group meeting under India's G20 presidency here in Guwahati. Over the past 2 days, 72 delegates from the G20 nations as well as international bodies such as the ILO, International Labour Organization and World Bank have mulled upon the draft ministerial declaration proposed by India. India has focused on 3 major areas. First is the standardization of evaluation and criterion of skills. Second is the supporting the already emergent fields of gig and platform economies. And number 3 is how to finance and fund the social welfare schemes for laborers in the formal and informal sectors. The suggestions and contributions by the delegates have been incorporated into the draft ministerial declaration and they will be part of the final ministerial communique. With camera person Sanjeev, in Guwahati, Assam, this is Nandita Dagar for DD News.
Lead India correspondent in Guwahati, Nandita Dagar, spoke to the representative of the International Labour Organization on her experiences in the meeting and outcomes of the second Employment Working Group meeting in terms of progress made on the ministerial declaration, which employment ministers of G20 nations will adopt in July for consideration by G20 leaders at the New Delhi G20 summit in September.
How did the deliberations go? What are your impressions of India's hospitality, India's presidency of G20?
So the presidency is deploying a lot of efforts to welcome us here, and the hospitality is amazing. We have not only great hosts in the room facilitating the discussion, making it very smooth and easy, but also outside giving us some social programs, inviting us for social events in the evenings, and this also creates team building in the group and improves our outcomes in the deliberations.
Speaking of outcomes, what outcomes, if you could just highlight some of the outcomes that you achieved?
So it's too early to speak about achievements. We are negotiating, discussing, the member countries are discussing the text of that will hopefully be adopted in July at the ministerial meeting. So the deliberations are going well. We have progressed on the text. There are many areas of convergence and agreement. Others still need more discussions, but we will hopefully get there by July.
Lead India correspondent in Guwahati spoke to foreign delegates participating in the second Employment Working Group meeting on the outcomes of the meeting in terms of consensus building on the three priority areas of India's G20 presidency, which are addressing global skill gaps, gig and platform economy, and sustainable financing of social protection policies of workers, particularly of the gig and platform economy. Some of them also spoke on India's soft power projected through yoga and culture. Take a listen.
3 days. How have they gone, and what are your achievements on the third day? How has the conference, anything conclusive that?
I really want to thank India and the Indian presidency for hosting us and being such wonderful, kind hosts, and we've appreciated the discussion with all of the delegates and look forward to future discussions on promoting decent work and social justice.
How did the deliberations go? How have you enjoyed Assam hospitality of India in G20?
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank the government and people of India, and particularly the people of Assam, for a very warm welcome and for this organization of an excellent meeting. We have progressed a lot. We are paving the way towards the ministerial meeting, which will be in July this year. And we have started discussing the ministerial declaration, the main body of the declaration and annexes, and we have achieved a lot of consensus on major topics as G20 nations. And our ministers will adopt this declaration in July, and they will submit it for leaders' consideration for the Delhi summit. And in terms of logistical matters, from the arrival upon the arrival in the airport, we have been very welcomed, and it was very nice. People are very kind and friendly, and they always be helpful, and we feel like at home. And thank you very much. And I would like to convey my success regards and wishes of success to the government and people of India.
How have the deliberations gone, especially today, which was the final day of the Employment Working Group?
For us in Germany, they've gone really well. Several of the points that we wanted to make have been successfully taken on after some negotiation, and for us it is very important to promote decent work. Of course, worldwide we are interested in having decent work in global supply chains. That is very important as well, and we are also supporting social protection for all. So these are the main goals for us here, and today we talked about an annex of social protection, financing social protection, that is important. We forwarded a new paragraph on global supply chains, which was taken rather well. And so I think for us it has been a successful meeting.
You've also enjoyed some cultural song and dance performances on the first
day. What was the impression that you carry back about India's culture or hospitality?
The hospitality is amazing. It's tremendous. It was wonderful food, wonderful people. Everybody is very, very friendly, very, very friendly. And to be honest, I think the prettiest for me is the colors. It is a very colorful country and a very colorful society and culture.
You participating in the discussions, very, very active participation by Argentina. How have the deliberations, the discussions gone in the past 3 days? Any significant outcomes or consensus that you've achieved on any areas?
I think there was progress, a lot of discussion. Most importantly, there was dialogue, and I think we have made some steps forward, which is very important given the subject.
Also, you have enjoyed yoga sessions and practiced yoga, which is India's centuries old civilizational gift to the world, and our Prime Minister Modi is promoting it in a huge way. How is yoga impacted you, and probably you must have spoken to other delegates in the past 3 days. How has it affected your work productivity?
It helps you to give a little more of energy given the very long drafting hours. So we appreciate it, and we think it's very, very cool.
South Africa has got the biggest Indian community in the world outside of India. So it was almost like interacting with my fellow South Africans back home, part of the same human community. And I believe the slogan that we have, one earth, one family, one future, was actually put into practice. We practically felt it. And the hospitality, I must say, I enjoyed the kaiti. Never tasted it before, but my experience has been wonderful. Continuing from Jodhpur, where we were at the beginning of February, back here, and every step of this journey has been delightful. And
what about the cultural performance that you witnessed on the first day, the night before the dinner?
It's been a continuation from what we've seen in Jodhpur when we were here. It's same culture, beautiful tapestry of cultures, the performance, the fine art, and it actually reminded me of my own home in South Africa, where we revel inside performances. So the same display that we got to experience here, it showed us that indeed we are one humankind, one family, and if we continue this route, surely we will be able to deal with the number of geopolitical issues that sometimes come up and threaten to separate, to show us that we are different than we are united, when in actual fact we are more united than any difference can ever come to us. So even the discussions that have been had inside the main summit, they've shown to be progressive, and that as the human race we will be able to deal with the issues that we sometimes come across. But brilliant.
Sir, also you must have, our Prime Minister Modi, apart from giving the slogan One Earth, One Family, One Future, he's also proposed to the United Nations about almost 10 years back that yoga be made, there should be an international day of yoga, and yoga should be made a part of life. You also practiced yoga here, yoga sessions, small yoga sessions. Tell us about that, sir.
Indeed, I must admit, it was my first experience attempting to do yoga or practicing yoga. You will know the appropriate verb. So yes, it felt a needed intervention in one's body, and as you approach some of the difficult content that got us here in the first place, in the declarations and different positions, you approach it at least with less stress. And as you know, it's a person without stress thinks better, reason better. I would not necessarily say yes, it must, because I need to be mindful of other detail that are associated with it. So, but in its own, I don't see anything wrong with it. I participated, joyfully in it.
A special millets stall was put up at an exhibition at the employment meeting venue in Guwahati to create awareness about the goodness of the crop under India's G20 presidency. Millets are not only nutritious but are also good for the environment as the water requirement is low. So millets can be beneficial for countries facing water shortage and food security issues. Assam impressed delegates with its local products, handicrafts and textiles showcased at the second meeting of the Employment Working Group in Guwahati. It was a fulfilling start to the day in Thiruvananthapuram with delegates at the G20 Empower meeting in Kerala starting the day with a holistic and energizing yoga session. The inaugural session of the fourth and final Business 20 event in Kohima at the State Banquet Hall in Nagaland began with a keynote address by Union Minister of State in the Ministry of External Affairs R.K. Ranjan. Nagaland is hosting Business 20 conference on the opportunities for multilateral business partnerships in agriculture and food processing sectors. Addressing the B20 conference in Kohima, Chief Minister of Nagaland, Neiphiu Rio, invited investment in the state's tourism, agriculture and allied sectors. On the sidelines of the conference, a visit to Kisama Heritage Village and a visit to World War II Museum is planned for the delegates. Let's listen in to the Chief Minister of Nagaland.
There exists great investment opportunity in the agriculture and allied sector of the state. And I would urge every one of you to consider exploring the immense possibilities in these sectors. Nagaland, blessed with the pristine and beautiful natural environment, almost entirely untouched and unpolluted, is a tourist paradise. The state offers a huge potential of tourism industry.
During the cultural program for G20 delegates in Kohima, Naga musicians presented a soulful rendition of Vande Mataram. Take a look. Exploring partnerships among business communities, Kohima in Nagaland is hosting the next Business 20 conference. The conference will aid the development of critical sectors in the economy in the northeastern region and facilitate economic growth let's introduce you to Nagaland and the conference.
Welcome delegates to Nagaland. A state replete with festivities. A land of uniquely diverse tribal cultures and mesmerizing history. The folklore here is ageless and is defined by generations of tribal coexistence. Nagaland is nestled between exquisitely picturesque landscapes, lush and verdant flora, and vibrantly colorful sunrises and sunsets. Kohima, the capital city of Nagaland, where tales of valor abound, where lively marketplaces and serene panoramic views coexist. Where music comes to life in the multicolored Hornbill Festival. Come witness the charm and warmth of this northeast jewel of India. Come experience a state that is full of grace. Come to Nagaland.
Indian Institute of Technology in Kanpur will be hosting the Youth 20 consultation under the G20 Presidency of India from the 5th to the 6th of April, where more than 1,200 youth delegates from across India and abroad will attend the Youth 20 consultation at IIT Kanpur. The Youth 20 consultation is a platform that brings young people together to connect, share ideas and experiences and deliberate on finding innovative solutions to pressing global concerns. The Y20 consultation under the aegis of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and the Government of India is a pan-India activity in the run-up to the final Youth 20 Summit to be held in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. The deliberations from these consultations will help in shaping future policies. 5 core themes are identified for the Youth 20 Summit 2023, out of which IIT Kanpur will cater to 2, which is Future of Work, Industry 4.0, Innovation and 21st Century Skills, and Health, Well-being and Sports, Agenda for Youth during the Y20 consultation. The second Development Working Group meeting is ready to host delegates and carry extensive discussions on the global G20 development agenda and provide an update on the outcomes drafted at the inception meeting. The 4-day meeting starts on Thursday at Kumarakom in Kerala. The meeting is crucial in view of the economic and social impacts of the multiple crises facing the world that have reversed progress towards the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. Remember, India is focusing on green development as an overarching priority for its G20 presidency that will enable acceleration of growth and sustainability. A side event on Towards a Sustainable Future through Lifestyle for Environment and Just Green Transition will take place, which will provide an opportunity to dive deep on these topics, hear diverse perspectives and come up with recommendations to build a sustainable future. Panel discussions on topics such as transformative transitions, data for development, women-led development, just green transitions and accelerating progress on SDGs high-level principles will take place during the 4-day meeting. Shyama Mishra reports.
The second meeting of the Development Working Group will take place at the picturesque location of Kumarakom in Kerala. The Development Working Group is known as the heart and soul of G20. The second meeting will focus on two priority areas: life, which is lifestyle for environment, and just green transitions towards making economy more greener. With camera person SP Dubey, this is Shyama Mishra for DD India, Kumarakom, Kerala.
We will bring to you more updates from the Development Working Group meeting that starts in Kumarakom, Kerala. Remember, Kumarakom's village in Kerala had also recently hosted the second Sherpas meeting under India's G20 presidency. So we'll bring you a lot of updates from the picturesque village starting tomorrow. Shyama Mishra will be getting us developments from there. And for now, we'll take your leave. Thanks so much for watching India at G20.
G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करें। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर में पूर्ण रूप से समाहित है।
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India. Get in-depth analysis of the important news of the day. Spotlight on day's newsmakers. Expert comments to dissect the news. Get the finer points of the matter. Watch Dateline 5 p.m. on weekdays on DD India.
G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करें। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ,